Looks like I broke a gear here. Or actually the shaft. I don't think I hurt the gear. Well, after a close inspection, I see that it's not the shaft that's broke. It's actually the screw that's in there that holds all this assembly together. So let me first go ahead and remove the gear. Now that I've removed the gear, you can see that the screw head is gone and the screw itself is actually sheared off. This is actually a pretty easy fix, and in fact I'm going to show you how I'm going to go about removing that screw from this sleeve. And even though it's been Loctited in with red Loctite, there is a way to get it out. So the first thing I need to do is let me go ahead and remove this shaft from the gear. Okay, now I've got the shaft removed from the gear, and as you can see that it has, the screw has been sheared off in it. And there's a simple way to fix this, or to remove that screw, and I'm going to show you how. What you need is a mandrel and the cutoff wheel that's really thin. And this actually works really well. This is the red one. And so what I'm going to do is take and use the Dremel, and I'm going to cut a slot in this, but I'm not going to cut the slot very deep. I don't want the slot to be really deep into the aluminum, so what I'm going to try to do is just cut the slot into the screw. Now I'll probably get into the aluminum a little bit, but I won't go very deep, and it's going to be difficult for me to hold the camera and do it, so what I'll do is do it and come back and show you the results here. Okay, I've got this hot. I don't know if you can see the smoke coming off of that or not, but it is a little smoky there. But what I'm going to do is try to push that and turn. And yep, it's coming. And I don't want it to slip, because you kind of get one shot at this, but you can see that I'm actually backing that screw out. And now, okay, alright, now it's gotten actually pretty easy now. So again, this is really hot, so I'm going to actually drop this over on a plate of aluminum. So hang on a minute. Alright, so you can see now that I've actually pulled that screw that was sheared off out of this aluminum sleeve. And you can see, maybe you can see, I just cut just a little bit of the sleeve. I didn't cut a whole lot of it, so I should be able to reuse this sleeve and just put another screw in it, and it'll be fine. And just so happens I have some 832 or 632 screws, and what I'm going to do now is, let me set this down. So now what I want to do is, this is the screw that was left. It looks like it's a stainless, and I have some 632 screws, but they look to be a little long. So what I'm going to do is take my Dremel, again with that thin cutoff wheel, and cut me a couple of screws, and I'm going to try to cut them just long enough so that they bottom out in this about the time it tightens up, and then that way I will be able to put us all back together and get back in the air. You probably can't tell, but I've made those screws, the two screws there, about one thread longer than the screw that I took out of it. So the hope is it'll start to bottom out in this sleeve as I tighten it up onto the gear. And but again, if I shear off another one, I don't know if that's a common problem or not, but if it is, it's not the end of the world. You just use the little technique that I've used here, and should have no problem taking it off. I've used this in many applications where a bolt or a screw has been sheared off and it's not big enough to tap it and use an easy out. So the next best thing is to slit it and use some heat and back it out.